Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes and his predecessor Harry Maguire rounded on Alejandro Garnacho during their side's defeat to Chelsea on Friday night. United slipped to a 1-0 reverse at Stamford Bridge. It was their 18th loss of the season, their third successive defeat, and their 8th consecutive Premier League game without a win. That latter feat is a new club record for the embattled Red Devils. The goal came about after neat play from Chelsea saw the play switched from left to right. The ball ended up with Blues skipper Reece James on the edge of the box, with Garnacho marking him. James pulled off a pirouette, leaving Garnacho in his wake, before digging out a cross towards the far post. That was where an unmarked Marc Cucurella was waiting to head the ball past Andre Onana. That proved to be the only goal of the game, with United failing to deliver much in terms of an attacking threat. Garnacho had only just come on in place of Mason Mount and quickly found himself at the ire of his teammates. Both Fernandes and Maguire were spotted angrily gesturing to Garnacho after Cucurella's goal. It was the latest low point in what has been a miserable season for the Argentine winger. He has found himself out of favour since Ruben Amorim replaced Erik Ten Hag as manager. This was his second successive Premier League game starting on the bench, having only played 30 minutes in the defeat to West Ham. It means Garnacho is highly unlikely to start next week's Europa League final against Tottenham, and legendary United skipper Roy Keane has urged Amorim to move on from Garnacho, as well as fellow academy graduate Kobbie Mainoo and striker Rasmus Højlund. No, I wouldn't be hanging my hat on them three to get Manchester United back to where they need to be. Mainoo comes on tonight. I watched him closely. He's strolling around the place. Some of his passes were sloppy. Garnacho, he's immature, Keane told Sky Sports. You want players for the big clubs, you turn up week in, week out. And he doesn't do that. He's got a bit of talent. He makes some good runs, and he threatens in behind. And on his good day, you think, listen, I like what I see. But he's got too many bad days. And Højlund, in his defence, I think he should have probably been a backup striker. A third or fourth choice and learn his trade off 2 or 3 brilliant strikers. The fact when he came to the club that he was going to be the main man, he's not good enough. He's certainly obviously lacking in confidence and belief. And he's not surrounded by brilliance either. So, the problems that we've spoke about United all season are still there. If people think they can fix that in one summer, then it's not going to happen. Ruben Amorim has crashed to a fresh low in his disastrous reign in charge of Manchester United, with the Red Devils now winless in 8 Premier League games. It is a new unwanted club record for Amorim's miserable side. The record was set by a poor defeat to Chelsea on Friday night. To make matters worse, United were playing in front of controlling co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who was in the stands at Stamford Bridge. Amorim had named a strong side for the trip to the capital, somewhat surprisingly ahead of next week's Europa League final. But the visitors were blunt in attack and offered little of note. The Blues secured all 3 points thanks to a late header from Marc Cucurella. The Spanish left-back lost his marker to powerfully head home an excellent cross from captain Reece James. The defeat leaves United down in 16th place, 27 points behind 5th place Aston Villa and a gigantic 44 adrift of champions Liverpool. It also means that Amorim has set a fresh mark among United's worst ever managers. The loss at Stamford Bridge was their 18th league defeat, their most in a season since losing 20 in the 1973 to 1974 campaign when they were relegated. United have also now gone 8 league games without a win, a club record in the Premier League. It is their worst run since an 11-game winless run between December 1989 and February 1990. The run started with a defeat at Nottingham Forest, before a draw with Manchester City and a hammering at Newcastle. They were then beaten by struggling Wolves before being held by 10-man Bournemouth. Their last 3 games have all ended in defeat, against Brentford, West Ham, and now Chelsea. It is Amorim's second run of losing 3 successive Premier League matches with United. He also achieved the awful feat in December. That is only one fewer run of 3 consecutive defeats than Sir Alex Ferguson had across his 810 games in the competition. More concerningly for Ratcliffe is the fact that since the start of April, United have won fewer points than any other Premier League side, drawing 2 and losing 6 of 8 games in that time. In a clear sign where their make-weakness lies, the Red Devils have now failed to score in the first half of 26 Premier League matches this season, their most ever in a single campaign. Indeed, no side has failed to score in more first halves this season. The defeat followed a furious rant from legendary United skipper Roy Keane. He fumed on Sky Sports. "Manut must be embarrassed by this. What you want from players is go to good habits. What I see is the lack of fight, the lack of competing. You can forgive teams for losing, but when the manager is coming up most weeks and is scratching his head." Amorim's head is spinning from being Manchester United manager. I get why he thought, "I didn't want to get into that mess until the summer." He will be glad to see the back of this season. Some of the games they have just written off. I've never heard so much chat from this club about next week's game. Don't think for 1 minute that this team is going to be top 4 or top 5. They've lost 17 games this season, but they lost 14 last year. It's not just this season. This team just doesn't know how to compete. This is the bit I don't get. Turning up week in, week out is the sign of greatness. And these players, every week they don't know how to compete. Arsenal have revealed David Raya will officially become their number 1 next year after the Spaniard opted to change his shirt number. Raya has been the first choice since last season when he replaced Aaron Ramsdale. He initially arrived on loan, taking the number 22 with Ramsdale in place with the number 1 shirt. Raya made his move to the Emirates permanent last summer, while Ramsdale was sold to Southampton. The Spaniard opted to keep hold of his 22 shirt this season, with Ramsdale having not been sold until late in the window. The number 1 has remained vacant across this campaign, despite Raya playing all but 3 games. Neto has been his main backup, with Tommy Setford and Jack Porter appearing in 1 Carabao Cup game apiece. Boss Mikel Arteta is keen to add to his goalkeeping options in the summer. While he is looking to bring in more competition for Raya, the Gunners have made it clear he will remain Arteta's first choice. The club have announced a move before the transfer window even opens, which firms up Raya's position. It has been announced that Raya will switch shirt numbers from 22 to the number 1. The Gunners confirmed that the Spaniard made the decision to move into the vacant number 1 shirt himself. He follows in the footsteps of David Seaman, Jens Lehmann, Manuel Almunia, Wojciech Szczesny, Petr Cech, Bernd Leno and Ramsdale. All of them have worn the Gunners' number 1 shirt since permanent squad numbers were introduced to the Premier League back in 1993-94. With the number 22 shirt vacant, it has been taken by wonderkid Ethan Nwaneri, who has left his number 53 jersey. The changes will come into effect following the conclusion of the current campaign. Arteta's top target for a new keeper is Joan Garcia, who has impressed at Espanyol. The Spaniard has reportedly made it clear he wants to join the Gunners, with Aston Villa and Barcelona also circling. Arsenal failed in a move for Garcia last summer, but he has admitted he now feels ready to step up, with a spot in Spain's World Cup 2026 squad, his aim. He told AP last month, "There was lots of interest last summer, above all from Arsenal, but I stayed here, and from then on, I have been 100% focused on this campaign. We all know the situation, not just mine, but of the club, and anything can happen, but the future will tell, and we will worry about it when the time comes. I think I am goalkeeper that transmits confidence when it comes to making decisions. And through the years, I have learned to accept my mistakes and use them to improve. I think that is something that any football player needs, but especially a goalkeeper. I am proud to be considered one of the goalkeepers who have a chance to go to the national team. It is the highest honour to play for one's country at a World Cup. So if I have that chance, I will give it my all to make it happen."